Hello everybody and welcome back to MTG Bulk Mythic. What we have here are the final 10 packs out of that set booster box that we opened earlier in this season. We're going to see how we could finish this out. That last set of 10 was pretty spicy. It had some pretty good pulls in it. I was really excited about those. Let's see if we can keep that coming along, including that full art Kasmina Planeswalker. That looked amazing. So let's see. Actually, that came out of the bundle box that we opened. So let's see if we can match that. Actually, I opened 10 draft boosters out of a bundle in a previous video and got that full art Kasmina. So let's see if we can keep that going actually and get something better out of here. The set booster packs, again, you're going to have your land slot, you're going to have your spell slot, you're going to have your connected commons and uncommons, which are variable in how many of each you get as far as commons and uncommons are concerned. And then you get your rare. And in this case, we get Necro Blossom Snarl. Another Witherbloom Snarl. Very good there. And Infuriate as far as our Mystical Archive goes. And then a foil Prismari Pledge Mage. And then here we go. First pack, we're going to get a list card. Balefire Liege. 2 and 3 Boros Hybrid mana for a 2/4 Spirit Horror. And other red creatures you control get +1/+1. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. And then whenever you play a red spell, it deals 3 damage to a player. Whenever you play a white spell, you gain 3 life. So one of the Liege cycles from this set, I can't remember the name of the set off the top of my head, but I know that the Selesnya Liege was a very popular one for green and white. And here we have the Boros Liege in the list slot. So no list card in this one because we do have that token. So let's see what we got here for art card, basic land, and then expanded anatomy in the spell slot. Some more Lorehold commons and uncommons. Ardent Duskbeaker. This does a lot of work in limited and draft, being able to recast your spells from the graveyard. And then we end up here with our Beladros Witherbloom, the Elder Dragon itself. Very powerful card there, creating those tokens on every single upkeep, including your opponents, which synergizes really well with some of the sacrifice stuff going on in Witherbloom. And not to mention, they're just good blockers because they'll chump block and gain you life. And then we have Vanishing Verse as a rare, and then a rare Grape Shot. So already a 2 rare and a mythic. And here we go again, and we've got a foil Valmekis Lorehold. So 2 Elder Dragons in one pack. How about that? So 2 rares, 2 mythic rares, one of which is a foil in one booster pack. That's why I like opening set boosters right there. Draft boosters are for drafting. Go ahead and crack those open when you're sitting around a table. But if you just want to open packs and see some amazing cards, get yourself some set boosters. And this one's going to be a list card right here. So we'll see what we end up at the back of the pack. Our lesson is a rare, so already a bonus rare in this pack right here, Illuminate History. 2 and 2 red for a sorcery. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. And if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you get a spirit creature token. So it fuels a second ability if you have enough cards to discard to it. It lets you wheel your hand and then maybe get a creature in addition to. And then we have Silver Quill, Connected Commons, as well as uncommons. And then we've got a modal double-faced rare here, right, with the Torrent Sculptor and Flamethrower Sonata on the back side, and a rare Exponential Growth. So that's a 3 rare pack. And Strategic Planning in the Mystical Archive with a foil Quandrix Cultivator. 2 really exciting packs, and here our list card is from Conspiracy Take the Crown. Coveted Peacock, 3 blue for a 3/4 flying. Not a bad rate right there, just off of the regular stats, but you get whenever it attacks, you may goad target creature defending player controls, which means until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than you if able. I did play a Take the Crown draft when this released, and I used Coveted Peacock to force my opponent. We went from 4 players down to 2 players, and then I used it to force the last player I was up against to attack with the wrong creature every single combat until I eked out a victory. So definitely a go to an effective mechanic right there. So if I ever do draft that again and I have the opportunity to put a Coveted Peacock in my pool, I absolutely will. So here we got our art card. We have a foil mountain this time. Reduced to memory as a lesson. And then it looks like Lorehold. Actually, a little bit of everything here. Hence the letter of acceptance. To fix the mana there in our commons. And then coming into Elemental Expressionist. Rare. And Eliminate. And a Stonewise Spirit. There's that spirit creature token. Coming on to the next pack right here. We got Silver Quill in our commons. And then uncommons look like blue-black. A little weird there. And then Devastating Mastery, which is 2 and 4 white mana for a sorcery. You may pay 2 and 2 white rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If you do pay the alternate cost, an opponent chooses up to 2 non-land permanents they control and return them to their hands, and then destroy all non-land permanents. So it's a symmetrical board wipe if you can afford the 6 mana to cast it. Otherwise, your opponent gets to return 2 of their permanents to their hand before you blow up the entire board. And then we have a foil Professor Zoomancy, a cultivate in the Mystical Archive slot, and an alternate game card. So I haven't tried any of those alternate games. If you have, go ahead and leave a comment down below what you think of any of them. There's 5 of the little mini games that they have. And if you played any of them, just let me know how they turn out. I mean, some of them look like they're pretty fun. They just look like additional excuses to open booster packs, which isn't necessarily a problem. But as long as they're not draft boosters. Our rare in this pack here is Wandering Archaic. So 5 mana on the front side, creature avatar. It's a 4/4. When an opponent casts an instant sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell and choose new targets for the copy. So it's an instant copy of any of your opponent's spells, unless they pay 2. And on the backside, you have Explore the Vast Lands for 3 as a sorcery. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library, reveals a land card and or an instant or sorcery card from among those, and puts that into their hand, the rest on the bottom of the library in random order, and each player gains 3 life. So it's a symmetrical card selection spell on the backside. Then we have a rare Poet's Quill and another Harmonize. This is literally the 6th Harmonize that I've opened. Pretty crazy, I think. It's the one rare Mystic Archive card that I've opened the most frequently. Absolutely. And then that foil Quandrix Pledge Mage. I think it's going to be standard playable, the Quandrix Pledge Mage. Blue-green's just a really good color combination to have plenty of non-creature spells, even though it's mostly a creature style deck. But I think their learn lesson combinations are really strong. And having the Pledge Mage and the mono green that has the +1/+1 Magecraft effect and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be, I think, a very powerful archetype in Constructed. Either that or with Witherbloom, because you have Blood Researcher, you have Quandrix Pledge Mage, and you have the mono green dragon whatever creature that all get +1/+1 counters for non-creature spells being cast. I think it's just going to be really good. I probably will put something together. And here our rare is a Rushed Rebirth, instant for black and a green. Choose target creature. When that creature dies, search your library for a creature card with lesser mana value, put it onto the battlefield, tap, and then shuffle. So it's kind of the spirit mechanic from sets long ago, where whenever a spirit died, you could return a spirit of lesser mana cost from your graveyard to the battlefield. But in this instance, you're searching your you're searching your library for the creature to replace it. So, it's 1 mana less than the creature that died, but it only costs 2 mana to have it replace itself. And then we have a foil Cultivate. These foils on the Mystical Archive cards just look amazing. This Cultivate is probably going to end up in one of my commander decks. This exact card right here. Okay, I apologize for that noise. I had left the window open in the office for some fresh air. Unfortunately, there's a small airport very close to my house. They do a lot of small craft uh, pilots licensing out of there, so it's not uncommon to have helicopters and airplanes flying in visual flight rule elevations near my house. So next time I'll have to remember to shut the window so that we don't get interrupted like that. But we're moving on nonetheless. We got a foil swamp, containment breach. We've got some Witherbloom connected commons. We got some Lorehold connected uncommons, and here we go. I've been waiting to open this card. We have Rowan, Scholar of Sparks on one side. That's 2 and a red for 2 loyalty planeswalker. Rowan, it says instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 generic mana less to cast. And then Rowan, Scholar of Sparks deals 1 damage to each opponent. If you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn, she deals 3 damage to each opponent instead for a +1 ability. And her -4 is you get an emblem with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay 2. If you do, copy that spell, or you may choose new targets for the copy. And on the back side is her brother, Will, the Scholar of Frost. 4 and a blue for a planeswalker Will with 4 loyalty. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. +1 of up to 1 target creature has base power and toughness 0-2 until your next turn. -3 to draw 2 cards, and -7 to exile up to 5 target permanents. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. So if you can get both, right? You can't cast both sides of the same card, but if you have multiple copies of this card in your deck and you're able to cast both, you can -3 Will to then +1 Rowan, because you've drawn 2 extra cards for a total of 3 after your draw step, and deal 3 damage to each opponent. So they kind of work together, and they both make instants and sorcery spells cheaper to cast, which is pretty cool. We also have Semester's End. We got Revitalize and a foil access tunnel. Coming down to the last couple packs here of this booster box. These packs right here have been a lot of fun to open. This last third of the box, especially getting that Will and Rowan, really awesome. The foil Cultivate, you can't be too upset about that at all either. So here we got Blex in the art card, a Plains. I've really enjoyed this set a lot. I've been playing a lot of it on Arena, especially draft formats. My most recent one was a quick draft, so I drafted against the bots, and I ended up drafting Silver Quill, and it didn't feel really good. Fervent Mastery is a rare here. And then we got a rare Mana Tithe, another Mana Tithe in the Mystical Archive slot, and a foil Rip Apart. But I felt like I was a little bit lacking on removal. It felt really slow, but I guess this draft format, from what I'm finding out, it's really, things don't really start going until turn 3. So your 3 mana, your 4 mana cost spells actually, they're where you want to be. It feels like, 2 drops, you want to have 2 drops, you don't want to not have 2 drops, but a lot of times nobody's doing anything until turn 3. So it ended up going 7-1, and in my one loss I didn't draw too well. In my game 7, which was my 6th win, I was way behind. I couldn't draw a creature to save my life, and I was getting beaten down by a Lorehold deck with some very aggressive bears, and unfortunately for my opponent, they disconnected enough times that they ran out of time and ended up clocking out. And I got the win off of that one just out of dumb luck and their bad internet connection. But I did go on and take the 7th win in game 8 and went 7-1. Felt really good about that draft. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. There's definitely a lot of things you can do. Here's an Auric Lore Mage in the rare slot, and then we have another rare Mystical Archive in Weather the Storm. I did attempt to draft the Weather the Storm deck. I drafted a really low curve. It's either Witherbloom or Quandrix. I can't remember how it turned out. But I had a Weather the Storm in there. I think it was Witherbloom because I was trying to chain. I really wanted to chain Weather the Storm with a decent storm count into things like Quandrix Pledge Mages and your Witherbloom Apprentices and things of that nature. Especially, I think I had 3 Blood Researchers in that deck too. So if I could have had one of those on the battlefield and then weathered the storm for at least a couple copies, I think it would have been pretty cool. But it never worked out. I went 0-3 in that draft. I'm almost certain it's because I was trying to force that combination there. It just never played out. But then I ended up here with this is a Born of the Gods reprint, Vanguard of Brimaz, white for a cat soldier 2/2 with vigilance and heroic. So whenever you cast a spell that targets it, you can create a 1/1 cat soldier creature token with vigilance. So if I was allowing cats in my Ren and Siri deck, this might be one that I would put in there, but I'm not. I'm only playing dogs in my Ren and Siri deck, and then I'm playing Sacrifice Outlets for the cat tokens because cats are not my favorite creatures. Dogs are amazing and wonderful, and we're just going to feed the cats for value and go off with all the doggos. But that ends out the set booster box. Really some great openings here. I enjoyed Mystical Archive cards. We got some really good rares in this third of it with the mythics of Will and Rowan. We've got 2 Elder Dragons. We got Necro Blossom Snarl and the Wandering Archaic. So a lot of really good cards in this last one here. My collector binder is filling up. I'm getting really close to completing a set, so I'm pretty excited about that as well. And with in-store play opening up, excited to be able to safely, with the proper precautions, sit down and actually play with players across the table. So interested in what you guys, if you are able to play Paper Magic with friends, what you are building in paper. Leave a comment below what you're putting together, so I can kind of look at what I've got going on. I know a lot of people are just kind of papering out the arena decks that they've been playing, which isn't a bad idea. Good way to get started, at least to try to figure out what you've got for live play. But let me know what's going on. I'll let you guys know what I got going once I decide to start playing Standard again. I do want to get back into Modern as well, see what we can build there. But it's been a lot of fun. Strixhaven's been a great set. Looking forward to Modern Horizons 2. Already have a set booster box of that pre-ordered. Stay tuned to the channel for that in future videos, as well as some more Commander content and other openings of just some stuff that I've got. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those videos. Give this video a like if you enjoyed opening up this set booster box with me, and share videos with a friend so that we can let everybody know that we're out here sharing our hobby together.